Now in this week's video, I'm going to be talking about why this week there isn't a video. Hang on a minute. So this week, I've had an illness. And yes indeed, it is the illness that you're probably thinking about. It is an illness that people have been talking about for the last couple of years. It's probably the worst illness that you could get at this moment in time. I am, of course, talking about man flu. Yes, I've had man flu, and it is terrible, isn't it? It's right up there as possibly one of the worst things that can ever happen to a person. And there are two things basically that you can't do when you have man flu. Firstly, you can't go running. No, running you cannot do. And secondly, you can't put the bins out. Now before you ask, because I know what you're thinking, it's not COVID. Hello, something's landed on me. Because I did do a test. Is it still there? I did do a test, and it came up negative, which we, okay, you know, got to be thankful for small mercies. Now, as you may be able to tell, I am slightly recovered. Not completely though, and I have come out for a walk with the dogs, and because they still want to be walked, even if I don't fancy going outside much myself. I don't want to spread my germs around, if I'm being perfectly honest, but I'm keeping away from people. But I am much better than I was. I have to say, well, I used to work in an office, and when I worked in that office, one of the things that I had to do, I had a team of people, and when one of those members of staff was off sick, then when they used to come back into work, the powers that be had deemed that I had to take them aside and do a return to work interview, which was good. It's definitely something you want to do, isn't it? When someone's been off sick, then you want to put yourself into a confined space with them for a few minutes, obviously. I mean, why would you not want to do that? And so I had to take them in and I had to grill them on why they hadn't been at work. And what often used to happen was that they would write on the return to work interview that after coming back after, say, 2 days, that they had been off with flu. In fact, they would write on the return to work interview form, influenza, make it sound as bad as possible, except of course I would sort of start twitching involuntary at that point, because let's face it, if you've been off with flu, you're not back after 2 days. You're basically stuck in bed for a week and you can't move. So I would say to them, no, you haven't had flu, have you? You probably, at best, had a sniffle, haven't you? You've had a cold, really, but a cold doesn't look very good on the form that goes up to HR, does it? So influenza sounds an awful lot better. Of course, occasionally, there would be somebody who was off for a significant period of time, and then they would come back and write influenza in block capitals on the form, but of course they would mysteriously have developed a suntan while they'd been off and kind of have this aroma of sambuca about them, which was always a little bit suspicious, really. I love doing those interviews. There we go. Not as much as I like doing the interview that time I had to do with someone. I had to do the body odour interview. That was good. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. He was a big bloke as well, and he was stood between me and the door. And yeah, I didn't like that. That wasn't good, but I was told I had to do it. So, happy days. So the reason that I mentioned the return to work interview is that if I was filling in a return to rambly running interview form at the moment, I would probably be tempted to write influenza in block capital letters. I mean, you know, it hasn't really been full-blown flu. It has been quite nasty, actually. And it has been the old aching limbs and the hot and the cold and the shivering and the temperature and all that business, streaming nose, raging sore throat, felt like I'd swallowed some razor blades. It was pretty awful. I'm definitely much better than I was, but my limbs are still quite achy. It's a little bit achy. I've still got a little bit congested. You can probably hear in my voice that I'm not 100% right. I've got a bit Barry White. So, yeah, it's not good. And obviously, I'm not going to go running until I am 100% better. And even then, I probably wouldn't want to vlog straight away. I want to, you know, I don't want to talk and run at the same time, especially when I first venture out. So that's why I thought I would make a quick video today to update, because I always put a video out on a Thursday and I want to carry on doing that. What are these dogs up to? What are they doing? It's all right, they're sniffing. And but of course next week there may not be a video, depending on how things go from here on in. I'm definitely say on the mend, but whether there will be enough time between now and next week for me to recover, get out, have a trial run, and then get out again and do some vlogging, I mean, goodness only knows. I think it's probably a big ask, frankly. So if there is no video next week, well, you'll know why. However, YouTube has suggested 2 videos here either side that you might like to watch in the meantime. There's stacks of content on this channel to keep you entertained until I return, and that will be soon, I promise. So don't go away, subscribe, like, all that usual stuff, and I'll see you again very soon.